Alright, kiddo. Time for bed.
Please read me another chapter before I go to sleep.
Okay, but after that it's lights out.
Okay.
Alright. So this chapter's about a pirate named Captain Crown who lived right here in Louisiana. Maybe even in this very house.
That's scary.
Some folks believe he hid his treasure deep in the swamps. And it's there where his ghost forever dwells to punish those who go looking for his gold.
Daddy, are ghosts real?
Of course not, sweetie. It's past your bedtime. Time for sleep. What was that?
Daddy, I'm scared.
Magnolia, get under the bed.
What an intro. Hello and welcome to Let's Replay Mystery Case Files 13th Skull. I'm MCFPapa and this is part 1. I love this game. It's the last game in what I consider to be the golden era of MCF, where just they nailed practically everything, such high quality experiences that are still enjoyable even to this day, which is amazing considering how old these games are now. And I am gonna have to change my profile. I totally was surprised going on here to see that it's still has MCFPapa, which is what I recorded the non-commentary playthrough of this game on this computer several years ago at this point, because I'm gonna be going for all the achievements, so I can't just restart on my old account. Gotta create a new one. And I just love this title screen too, making a skull out of the house and the tree branches. It's just really nice. And something interesting is there's this thing for the bonus game, but you don't actually ever use it to access the bonus game. The bonus game just automatically appears after beating the main game. I guess they threw this in just to let people know that yes, there is a bonus game. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, that's another thing interesting. In this collector's edition, your inventory has less slots on a single page because of where they put the strategy guide. Kinda weird. Acting on directives received from headquarters, I've procured passage from Great Britain to the southern tip of Louisiana in the United States. I must admit, a change of climate is welcome after my brief yet chilly stopover in the hamlet of Dyer Grove. I've been brief little on the matter ahead, but a case of missing persons appears to be my latest undertaking. Typically, a lost individual concern would fall under the jurisdiction of local authorities, as many of my assignments pertain to rather unusual circumstances. I can't help but feel a bit curious about such an apparently commonplace situation. That said, it's not often I receive an ordinary envelope emblazoned with the extraordinary title of 13th Skull. Yeah, now this really doesn't make much sense. I get what they're doing, because all the, in Return to Ravenhurst and Dyer Grove, the first journal page ended with the title of the game. But in this one, it doesn't really make sense that, the Lawsons would send an envelope with 13th skull on it. Now look at the dripping effects and the rain effects. Like this game is just so atmospheric. And what's interesting is you can see the paths to other places, but for story reasons, like, you can't go there yet. And that's really interesting, like a complete reversal of Dire Grove, where, like, you could go anywhere you wanted, basically, from the get-go, with not much guidance. Whereas here, there's a whole objectives that constantly pop up, and, like, you're railroaded a lot more. Though you still get a decent amount of freedom. And here's Marcus Lawson's missing poster. Marcus was last seen at this residence on the evening of October 17th. If you have any info, please contact Sarah Lawson at that number. Please help. And also, unlike Dire Grove, which had live actors, but they were used pretty subtly outside of the found footage, here the live actors are front and center.
Detective, I'm glad you've arrived. My daughter and I are worried sick about the disappearance of my husband, Marcus. We just moved here to Louisiana. Now he's missing, and I don't know what to do about it. The locals are all too afraid of some ridiculous curse to help us search for him. You're the only one who can find him and return him safely to us.
And then we have, I guess, dialogue, but you don't hear any of the master detective's
Not
words.
long after we moved in, my husband became convinced this place was cursed by a ghost. The ghost of a pirate. Can you believe such nonsense? He overheard the neighbors rambling on about a pirate's hidden fortune. A few days ago, he finds a map he believes has clues to the hidden treasure. He gets completely obsessed, starts tearing this place apart, and now he's missing. My husband found a map of the property not long after we moved in. With all the locals' talk of pirates, he thought it might be some sort of treasure map. It's there on the couch, but it looks like the dogs had its way with it. You might have to search around a bit to find the missing pieces. There's some tape around here to keep it together.
Now, it is, like, green screened, and the effect is kind of rough around some of the edges on some of the characters, but I do really appreciate how they tried to make the live actors match the environments they're in. Like, you can see light shining on her back like it's coming from this window here, which is a really nice touch.
Please stop dallying and help find my husband.
Yes, ma'am. I will. Just let me work. One thing, though, that's kind of fetch questy is all these objectives that have you find X amount of similar objects. Like, maybe they didn't need them in the game, but they're still cool. Like, I still like them. Yeah, see, you can't go upstairs yet. But we can see that there's a T on the chandelier. Can see a clock. Doesn't seem to work or display any proper time. A locked door. Another locked door. What is this? Ravenhurst? And that, like, lock image was used for the nursery in Ravenhurst. So it's funny to see it back. I don't think that one was used in Ravenhurst, though. But if we look, there's a key right under the door. But just look at the design of this door. Like, so detailed with paint chipping off. Like, really selling the feeling that this is a run-down old mansion that hasn't been well maintained since, like, the time of the Civil War. And also there are these scenes which have just a bunch of junk in them, but they'll sometimes have objects you need to find. Kinda like pseudo-mini hidden object scenes, I guess. And maybe that's what they were going for with these item objectives. And then there's, like, doors and such we can open, but nothing of note on this, like, spice rack yet. There's a nasty sink. There's some jambalaya cooking, get it, because we're in Louisiana. And a dirty window, as well as a trash bag. But if we check out the fridge, there's something in here. And now, most of the achievements are, like, you'll get automatically if you just don't click on a bunch of stuff. The only one that's really hard, the hardest anyway to do, it's not that hard, but it's the Southern two-step, which is find 4 objects in 2 seconds. So what you want to do is just find items that are close together and then hopefully click really fast. There we go. I did it! Wow. And like Dire Grove, there's achievements for simply not using hints or misclicking many times or skipping any scenes. Though I really like even the HUD in this game, like with the ivy overgrown and like shutters with like moss or cobwebs or something hanging off of them. Now, why, may I ask, is the butter there instead of in the box that's clearly marked butter? And by the way, I would not want to eat from this family's fridge. Like, they got mold just growing there. And just like a bunch of stuff that looks like it hasn't been eaten in like weeks. Which, I mean, I guess it's still probably good, ain't it? Like, stuff in the fridge can last a while, especially someone's dentures. Oh wow, I could have clicked on that for the find all the items quickly. Oh yeah, there's the crawdad. And by the way, corn soda. I guess since they just put so much high fructose corn syrup in soda to begin with, they decided to just make a soda that was just that. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, I was looking for an ice cube, not like actual icicles. We can't even go outside to the backyard. And we can't go downstairs without a light. Another cabinet of junk with nothing in. And then Pippi, the dog, has the last map piece, but Pippi doesn't want to give it to you, so just give him a bone, or her a bone, or I don't know what gender name Pippi is. I guess that's a girl name. I don't know, maybe it's a gender neutral name. Now we can just put the map pieces back. And then just tape it up. And it's as good as new. And now, this is interesting, like, the map is used for one puzzle, well, technically 3 parts of a puzzle, at the end of the game, but it really doesn't help much as an actual map. Because, I mean, it's not that hard to navigate around the area. Like, here's the mansion, here's the graveyard, here's the neighbor's house, here's the carriage house, here's the town. Like, yeah, you can use it for that, but you really don't need it. It is a pretty cool illustration, though, I will say. Abandon all hope, ye who seek my fortune. Well, let's talk to Mrs. Lawson again.
It looks like you've got the map pieced back together all right. If nothing else, it should help you get your bearings around the estate. You might want to begin your investigation by speaking with Mary, the cleaning woman we hired. It sounds like she's working in the bedroom upstairs. Again, thank you so much for helping us, Detective.
Oh, you're so welcome.
We were unexpectedly willed this old estate by Marcus's great aunt. He thought it was our big break. After some discussion, we sold our house and moved here from Ohio. If only we'd known what a run-down dump this place was. Our daughter Magnolia was the last person to see her daddy before he disappeared. I'm not sure I believe her, as she also claims to have seen a ghost that night. I'm afraid all of this has just been too much for her.
I hope you have something better to do.
Yeah, if you try to talk to the characters when they don't have anything to
Please
say,
stop dallying and help find my husband.
then they'll
I
just
hope you have something better
be
to do.
annoyed. At least some of them will be annoyed. I just made the acquaintance of a grief-stricken Sarah Lawson, whose husband Marcus has mysteriously vanished from their newly acquired property. Mrs. Lawson's account of the incident yields more questions than clues, but after some snooping about, I was able to reassemble a map discovered by her husband. The map is very old, but appears to be a fairly accurate depiction of the present-day manor and its surroundings. Mrs. Lawson noted that her daughter Magnolia was the last person to see her husband on the evening he went missing. I'm told Magnolia and a hired hand named Mary Lee are upstairs awaiting my arrival. Perhaps by questioning them I can gain more insight into Marcus's disappearance, as well as a supposed pirate's curse mentioned by Mrs. Lawson. Yeah. And this game also does illustrations that are just taking the normal scenes created in the game and just putting a filter over them to look like they're drawn in. Though it is interesting, this photo, like him happily flipping burgers, or at least some guy happily flipping burgers with the actor's head photoshopped on. Though I do like, though, that even on this journal page, like, You see rain falling and bugs flying around and like reeds off to the side. It's really nice. And again, more atmospheric. But we'll talk with Mary Lee and explore the upstairs some in the next part. So like and subscribe if you want. I'll see you then.